The story of Abraham is a story of faith. He is considered the father of all believers. He is Abraham's faith without flaws. He had to wait many years. When he was 75 years of age, God promised that he would be a great nation. At that time, he was childless. He was known as Abram at that time, and his wife was known as Sarai. Both of them had to wait many years for God to realize that promise. And at a certain point in time, Sarai could not wait any longer. She asked Abraham to sleep with her maidservant, Hagar, and have a child by her. Abraham, who was Abram at that time, agrees to sleep with Hagar. He has a child by her. That child is Ishmael. Ishmael arrived because Abram, or Abraham, the father of faith, the father of all believers, could not wait. He could not wait. He could not hang on to his faith. So Abraham's faith is a flawed faith. It is not a perfect faith. It is a faith with a significant error. He made a significant mistake. He had a child by Hagar, and that child was Ishmael. After he had Ishmael, God met him again and promised him once more that he would have a child called Isaac. Abraham did not react in a manner that suggests belief. Let me read from Genesis 17, verse 17. Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, "Will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, "If only Ishmael might live under your blessing." These words are not the words of a man who believes. These words are the words of a man who obviously has a problem with believing what God had just told him. He could not believe that he would have a child at the age of 100. However, God reassures him. And he is reassured. Abraham is reassured. Abraham also becomes Abraham. From Abram, he becomes Abraham, and Sarai becomes Sarah. Sarah also laughs when she learns that she would be pregnant at the age of 90. Even she has a problem with believing what God was about to do. Both of them had a problem with believing God. And God made this unforgettable point that nothing is too difficult for him. Anything is possible to God. 100-year-old man can produce a child. A 90-year-old woman can bear a child. Now this is what comes across to me. Abraham's faith is not a perfect faith. It is a flawed faith. He made a significant mistake when he slept with Hagar. And then he also made a mistake when he laughed at God. At least he laughed at what God intended to do. So, all those who want to model their faith on the faith of Abraham should bear this in mind, that his faith was certainly not perfect, but it was a flawed faith. He ultimately believed in God. Despite his doubts, he believed in God. So when people talk about faith, let them bear this in mind. Faith is not without doubt. At least Abraham's faith was not without doubt. And Abraham is the greatest example of faith that is found in the Bible. Even Moses, when he was commissioned by God to lead the people of Israel, did not show much faith. He had plenty of doubts regarding himself and regarding God's choice of him. So faith is not without doubt. Faith contains doubt, but it ultimately triumphs over doubt. So anyone who maintains that faith should not involve doubt is not aware of the mechanics of faith as we witness it in the Bible. Abraham's faith clearly illustrates that it was a faith that revealed doubt. He showed doubt. He not only showed doubt, he made a genuine mistake when he acted impatiently. And despite his impatient act, and despite his disbelief, God still performed, still fulfilled the promise that he made to Abraham. So God is not expecting a perfect faith from anyone. He understands human frailty. He understands human weakness. And if we make a mistake, as Abraham made a mistake, God will understand. And he will still fulfill his promise, whatever promise he made us. So let us remember this lesson today. Let us endeavor to have a faith like Abraham's faith. It was not a perfect faith, yet it was a faith that pleased God eventually.